figure is he gonna give? Lobby. And at this time, we'd like to call work session to order. What we have this evening, we have a guest this evening, Mr. Dave Christie of Christie Development Associates, LLC. He will be providing an update on the assignment of the Y Highway Marketplace TIF. This item will be on the agenda for September 8th City Council meeting. Additional updates will also be provided on his other retail developments in the city of Belton. So, if we could find Mr. Christie. Oh, there he is. It's the shirt.
Hope you guys hear me through the mask.
Golly, it's tough.
Is that better? Thank you all so much for allowing me to come share this evening. I'm going to be out of town on the 8th, and so I'm going to ask my legal counsel to come make the presentation on the assignment of the Belton Group. TIF, I believe is the name of it, the Constantino project. I plan to close the purchase of that property on the 23rd of September and have worked diligently to get pad users and work on filling the space up in addition to the phase 2 land, which is on the end of the strip. So I've got, I'm not going to share names tonight, but they'll be coming in front of you all. I've got a purchase agreement signed on the pad next to Taco Bueno. I'm purchasing the Taco Bueno from Vera Reet and putting a national fast casual restaurant in that space. I've got, at this time, I have no interest. I'm working on a strip on the land next to Arvest Bank on Y Highway. I have a 4,000-foot user going in behind Arvest Bank on the phase 2 land. And then I'm working on a 25,000 square foot box on the phase 2 land next to the vacant strip. I shared with the mayor and Carolyn, had them out to eat at a restaurant that I have a lease that I'd sent out for signature. And when COVID hit, that's kind of delayed it, but it's a 5,600 square foot bar and grill. They're in several states. They have 13 stores. And I think that deal will come to fruition, as soon as things calm down a little bit. So anyway, I'm excited about that. There's I don't think anybody knows the exact, Sheila might, the exact balance of the TIF and the CID that's due to Constantinos, and they're assigning that to me with an obligation for me to pay part of that money back to them over time. So anyway, Sandy Watts, my attorney, will be here just to make the formal presentation for me on the 8th, and please forgive me for not being here. But I asked for this time to come give you an update. We're excited about, we've been working on the project. We were supposed to close it in May, middle of COVID, so we've delayed it. So it's finally here in the end of September. So I'm happy to address any questions on that project before I go on to others. I think that's why we did a work session in case there's questions that some council members might have.
Questions? Come on, there's got to be a question there. Are we going to like everything we're getting?
I sure hope so. I think I know what you like.
Councilman Clark.
Everything you're bringing in sounds very exciting. I didn't hear anything about the strip, though. Do you have anything planned to fill up that area?
Yeah, that's the 5,600 foot bar and grill.
Oh, okay.
With a big, we would cut holes in the side of the building and put overhead doors in and make the patio pour about a 2,000 foot patio on the north side of the strip and put a wrought iron fence around. That would be an outdoor seating area for the strip to give them more space, and that's what you need to be successful in this day and time. So working with that, we've got a nutrition store that we're working with, but everything, everything that is related to retail is crazy. We're trying to buy 80,000 square foot Academy Sports in Jacksonville, Florida. And we just heard from our lenders. They said, Dave, it would be easier for me to make a loan to you on a vacant office building than retail. What the guy said to me. And I'm like, you know, Academy's going public, as you all probably have read. The sales are great. And, you know, it's a great opportunity in a really high-end center in Jacksonville, Florida. And, you know, so unfortunately right now, retail is kind of a cuss word. So we're kind of navigating that. But I'm just really proud of what we've gotten tied down so far in this economy. But the Constantinos are probably the best operators. We're one of the best in Kansas City. John Constantino is my neighbor. We're good friends. But they just, you know, they rely on other people to lease it, and they don't make those folks have accountability, you know, the agents that put up their sign and not do anything. So it's been a long time coming. I think the building's going on its 7th birthday, vacant, and that's just, you know, that's just no excuse for that.
Councilman Trutzel.
Am I correct to assume that all these are sales tax generators?
Yes.
How many stores in the current Constantino end cap? How many parts are there? Is that like 4, 3? How many?
The 5,600 feet would be the northern 4 bays,
4 bays. Okay.
or 1,400 foot bays.
Other questions? Okay, you want to move on to the next one?
Gary?
Oh, Gary. Was that a hand? Okay. Okay.
You need a finger?
Michael Jackson. Okay.
I just want to say thank you for your work that you do in Belton. I know it's been a long time you've been here doing things, and everything's working out really well. Hope you keep it up.
Tim and Dave, I was telling Dave on the way in, I said, you guys all look so good, and I look old, you know. And Gary, we've been around a long time working on stuff, so it's been a pleasure. If I can move quickly to Apple Valley, I purchased the Apple Valley property from the city in auction last week, and I'm doing a plan now. I've got a survey being surveyed, and my plan is to bring a national retailer in there and maybe just try to zone 1 acre so it's not too dense, and I don't wrap the corner and get in, you know, back where the residential is, because the houses are a little bit offset from that. But that's my goal. When we realized that the Apple Valley detention area was draining into the Coles Pond, Markey Regional Detention, as you all affectionately call it, it made sense to reclaim that land and make good use of it. So we're going to put it on the tax rolls and make it successful. So talked to the surveyor today, and he says he's going to get that plan done, and then we'll be in front of you requesting zoning for that 1 acre or 1 1/4 or whatever. I think the surveyor says the property is 3.91 acres. I think it's 1.7. So we'll determine at the time when it gets surveyed how big it is. But consequently, it's got a limited frontage. So I'm only going to be able to put something, and I need to determine with the survey, I'm doing a topo survey, what it's going to cost me to fill the whole thing, pull it out of the creek. I'm going to have to buy wetlands credits from the Corps of Engineers, probably to reclaim that area. So I just wanted to tell you that that's coming on board. On Belton Gateway, I'm working on a 30,000 foot user to go next to Ulta. It's a national retailer you guys would recognize, and I'm really excited about it. In the process of signing a lease with them at the Speedway. And so really excited about that. And I had shared with the mayor and so on that we were working on, you know, a lease with the Darden people for Olive Garden on the property down there at Gateway. And so I've continued to try to turn away fast food users that have approached us to try to go in there, because that's not what we're trying to set the tone for fashion and more higher end than not. We all enjoy fast food, and I eat too much of it, but you know, the bottom line is there's a place for it, but we need to do that. So anyway, I've got very few users interested currently in that, but the sit-down restaurant industry as we know it is gone, and I think probably forever. So the new sit-down restaurants are going to be fast casual. Chick-fil-A is even talking about doing away with all their seats and just opening drive-throughs only. So you couldn't even go inside and get a sandwich with Chick-fil-A. So as everybody reinvents themselves, it's going to be interesting how everything shakes out and turns out through this process. But I'll work hard. I'm working on a couple of small shop leases that I could build a strip on one of the pads to get some activity going. To address Neaters, the Neaters, and I'm going to say the family, and please, I'm going to apologize because it's not really, their last name is not Neaters, but they owned 10 stores. And they sold the national franchise rights to the people that I sold the pad to for them to build the Neater store. It's called the Four Foods Group, and they're one of the permanent developers out of Utah that build buy these concepts and just take them national. They ended up having 45 stores, and they were asking the Neaters owners to sell their 10 stores to them so that they could do away with the poor operation that the Neaters main originators of the name were operating the stores. And so instead of the Neaters family selling to Four Foods Group, the Neaters family came back and said, we want to buy you. We'll buy all your 45 stores back. So they wrote them a monster check and bought the Neaters. And the first thing they did was close the Kansas City stores, in front of Target, 121st Street in Metcalf. It just makes no sense. So I was out here today and I saw them, cutting the grass and cleaning it up and everything. And I don't know if they're going to reopen it, or what they're going to do, but we're trying to buy the building to re-tenant it. Currently, it's owned by a guy out of Las Vegas. So actually, I think he's out of Tucson, but he's in Arizona. But anyway, we're just excited about that, and I'm terribly excited. Thank you for approving the multifamily for North Point. That's going to make a huge impact on the retail on both spectrums of the Constantino Center that I'm buying and the existing Gateway project. So I think that was brilliant on the city's part, and you guys did awesome. And of course, the North Point Industrial Park, everybody's just pinching themselves like, how does this happen? Other than hard work and some luck and good folks, so, and a good location. So we're all terribly thrilled about that. But does anybody have any questions about the other two projects? And I'm happy to answer any.
Ask him who they are. I want to know. Who is it? Chet. Okay. Councilman Trutzel.
I just said it. You've been really active in the Constantino property. We've been dealing with that thing for ever and ever, trying to get something done. So obviously, you must have a lot more contacts than the agents did that were listing that property. I'm amazed, to be honest with you, in this type of environment that you've been able to have that kind of contacts. I congratulate you.
Yeah, I have two pads that will close. One will close a week after I close, and one will close before the end of the year. And they haven't, it's just been, the problem is that they're so successful in the grocery business. A man can't do many, many things great, and they do a great job in the grocery business. They said to me when I was negotiating with them, they're a fine family, I said, you're asking too much for the property, I can't pay that. And they said, you know, we're truly operate on 1% margins. So when we sell our groceries, 1%, we're happy with that. I mean, I don't think they really truly are, but so when the retailers are paying some rent, we're making more than 1% on that center. So we're not displeased with where it is. We'd like it to be full, but so when you got that kind of mentality, they're hard to buy from because they don't need the money, and they probably could have done some deals that they didn't do because they thought they might not, they weren't good decisions, or took too much money to invest to put them in there and that type of thing. But they're really sweet people. They just, you know, it's very difficult. There's been a lot of retail pockets develop around them, and I would have thought that they would be more full with what happened, what we did with Ross and Marshalls and stuff, and as the city's growing together. But we'll see. This residential is really going to make a huge difference, and the city does need some more sit-down restaurants, some more restaurants, and some more retail. So I'm certainly not the most talented in the city, and I'm certainly not the least. I just work hard and try to apply basic skills to try to bring tenants, and that's what I do. So.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, I'd like to adjourn the work session. This time, we're going to call the regular meeting to order, and that's for the Pledge of Allegiance today. It's led by Councilwoman Peak. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Davis,
Here?
Councilmember Savage,
Here.
Councilmember Lathrop,
Here.
Councilmember Trutzel,
Here.
Councilmember Van Winkle,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Finn, Councilmember Davidson,
Here.
Councilmember Peak. Here.
Consent agenda. One motion, non-debatable, to approve it. The recommendations noted. Any member of the council may ask for an item to be taken from the consent agenda for discussion and separate action.
Present.
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. We have no personal appearances. Ordinances. A motion approving the final reading of Bill number 2020-42.
An ordinance levying and fixing the rate of tax for municipal purposes for the Park Fund and for the Debt Service Fund for fiscal year 2021.
Present. Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. Seeing none.
Mayor Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Savage,
Aye.
Davidson,
Aye.
Trutzel,
Aye.
Van Winkle,
Aye.
Lathrop,
Aye.
Peak,
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
That motion passes. Resolutions.
There are no resolutions this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. City Council Liaison, Park, Councilwoman Davidson.
I don't know if anybody was able to get out to the park, let's see, 2 Fridays ago now, but they hosted their first theater in the park of the summer, and this was Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. It was certainly not an easy task, and this is their 7th summer of free performances in the park. They're looking forward to the final summer show, which will be Footloose on September 18th. They've had a couple of updates with the High Blue Wellness Center. That includes seeing an increase in the MX4 signups. They will be starting a boot camp back up in September and October. They're also getting ready to launch a new PE program, which is a new program for kids to sign up for private PE sessions in groups as small as 4 up to 24. And this is basically targeting both homeschool kids as well as those who are facing virtual classes this fall so they can still remain active. The Parks is also celebrating their 20th anniversary of the opening of the High Blue Wellness Center and are looking forward to recognizing members of the staff who have landmark anniversaries as well. There's been some discussion, I understand, regarding the mayor's Christmas tree lighting. My understanding is that it's scheduled for the week of December 7th. But details are kind of up in the air at this point. The Parks Department has also run some special promotions just to drive membership numbers. They've been very pleased with the results of their Christmas in July membership special, with 48 households taking advantage of the offer. This month we were offering a special 1-month membership deal and are waiving the enrollment fee if you join when your pass expires. They're still booking Memorial Station. They were able to get 2 rentals with the Christmas in July special. They have had some great recent showings for weddings in 2021. They also have a few weddings that canceled earlier in the summer, but will be, well, canceled, I'll put that in quotations, but will be rescheduling. So it sounds like the weddings are still on, just delayed. In terms of parks and facilities, I have a maintenance update. They've replaced some backstop boards on field number 2 at Marquee Park. They're also trying to fix some lighting issues at Marquee Park. They've replaced the skate park rules sign, which looks really good. They've replaced old security lighting with LED at the outdoor pool. The compressors were replaced at the High Blue Wellness Center, and they're repairing the outfield at Marquee and other maintenance items during the break. That's all I have for now.
Thank you.
Did you say something about the doggy date?
I did not. I don't know if I have that in here.
September 12th.
Is that it?
What was it?
There's a doggy, the closure of the pool, so they're having a doggy dip day, and Councilman is saying that that's on September 12th.
September 12th.
Okay.
That's a big deal. It's really kind of neat.
Well, they're having a special, I think, half-hour or hour for the little dogs at first, but you can find all that information on their Facebook page.
I got a yellow lab that loves that day.
Parks are looking good. I walk almost every one. What am I saying? I do walk every one of them almost every day. And I did go to the play, the musical, and it was really good. They had some really talented kids, my wife and I. So let's go on to Mayor's Communications. I'm hoping that, do we have something that we can talk about here today? How about the positive articles? Do we have an overhead for that? Are we going to display that? Or I'm just going to tell you all the things that I liked. Oh, I can't see it on ours.
It's coming.
Andrew, the large screen in the center is not displaying.
I want the council to see it too. See, I knew how to do that. Not. Okay, the local papers, Belton and Raymore covered, if you look there, Belton reaps remarkable progress. I hate for people to read to me, but I'm going to read some of this for you. In the mayor's message here, I want you to see that city ranks in the top 5 among metro cities for residential construction permits. Right now, it says formulate amid a global pandemic to have continued interest in our city developers, home builders, homeowners alike, enough so that more and more have invested in their resource to live and work here. The residential sector, this interest has grown and broadened our housing choices, which help attract and retain young adults and families. So adding new homes is the key to city's economic health. All right, through the first half, Belton in 2020 ranks 5th among nearly 70 cities across 8 counties in the Kansas City metro area with 177 residential construction permits. According to the second quarter Home Builders of Great Kansas City report, the same report shows Belton leading the city 12 the 12 city Cass County area in residential construction home permits through June. I think we're gonna have to applaud that. That's really good stuff right there, folks. All of you, that's good stuff. That's a long time coming. You can see the work underway in many of our residential subdivisions. If you've been out to Emerson, a lot of people don't even know where they are. Cambridge Hills, Cherry Hill, we know. Fairway Ridge is on the other side of Holmes, to name a few. But if you drive, you'll see these neighborhoods. So a final development plan has been submitted. That'll be on September, Dave, what day would that be? September 21st, is it? It's 21st. We'll be talking about 137 new single-family houses in the Autumn Ridge subdivision. Belton has enjoyed an extraordinary first half of 2020, said Carolyn Yatsuk, Belton's economic development superstar. Okay, didn't say that. Our single-family home development is now complemented by the luxury of North Point apartment development, which is expected to break ground in the first quarter of 2021. So the volume of residential activity is necessary knowing that the new Southview Commerce Center is fully leased by Progress Rail, Caterpillar Company, BoxyCharm, and Chewy Incorporated, 3 national corporations that are collectively bringing with them approximately 2,000 new jobs. So again, folks, we are blessed, make no doubt about it. We are extremely blessed with what staff's doing, what we're gathering. It's, how can this be happening? That in the middle of a pandemic, and I feel bad for the staff because they're overwhelmed. And police, fire, everybody, it's crazy. It is so busy in this city. Now I know Public Works doesn't have, oh, I guess I should say that too. Community development, it's astronomical right now. Our community, our Public Works people are everywhere. They're doing a great job, and we're really proud of what everybody's doing. So we're pretty excited, and I can't tell you enough how proud I am of the fact that this has gone a good time, I mean, in a bad time. You got to know that you still have to be cautious about the pandemic. You have to be smart. You can't go to parties with 100 people next to each other. You got to be smart. I know my wife and I, we go to a place that doesn't look safe. We don't go there. You've got to stay safe. It's still real. It's not going away, but we're still blessed. So be cautious, be smart, and know that I'm starting to know people that have the coronavirus, and that's a sign. You got to know it. With that, City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a reminder of our follow-up meetings that we have coming up on September 8th and 22nd, as well as into October, and that's all that I have to report for this evening.
Are you kidding? Okay. Okay, so with that, any communication from City Council? Councilman Clark.
I just want to thank Public Works, I believe who did it. I sent a message to Alexa the other day about a street on Harris that had a little divot in it, and I went out there the next day and it was already fixed, so I just want to thank the staff for doing that real quick.
You know, it looked like, when I went out there and looked at it, it looked like your wedge shot. It just took a hole where a truck just melted down in
It
that
looks like
road.
a,
But they fixed it good, and I went out also, and I'm pleased. It was great that they got that done.
like a trash truck just sat there for a day in the hot sun or something.
Oh, it just melted, it looked like. But they're doing a great job. If you haven't got out to work at the former CB's, what are we gonna name that? We gotta have a name. Public Works?
It's called the Public Works Facilities, Mayor.
Oh, golly, it's gotta have a name. That's pretty cool.
Belton Public Works.
But it is looking good. And I see that, I walked that park too, early, where all the trimming, where people had the limbs and all that, that's all been mulched and all that now, and it's really looking sharp out there. I'm really proud of the work and doing everything around the city. So congratulations. Who we were forgetting to say? Okay, with that.
I think Stephanie has.
Stephanie.
I have a few things to address. I had a question from a constituent this week regarding cable providers, and I'm probably going to botch this because I am not the person that does cable in my household. I don't know anything about it. I just know that the internet works. And so this person was asking what, basically, how does a city go about getting new cable providers, cable or high-speed internet providers? Is there, say, for right now, we have Spectrum. Well, that's who we have Spectrum. So does Spectrum have a contract with the city to be able to provide those services? Is it a contract basis, or is it simply if a provider wants to come in and offer coverage, they can do that?
Spectrum does have a franchise agreement with the city, but
Not
other,
on speaker.
Spectrum has a franchise agreement. It's this mask. Spectrum has a franchise agreement with the city, but other people are also, like, other companies could also get one. So they just need to run the infrastructure and want to come in.
So a franchise agreement is not like an exclusivity agreement. It's simply just basically operational. Okay, good to know. And then, who was the other one?
AT&T.
Oh, that's right. And then I wanted to give an update on the farmer's market. So I'll take off my city council hat and I'll put on my other hat. The farmer's market is slated to close this Thursday. I think that's the 28th. And I had a couple of emails to my city account regarding this, and so I just wanted to kind of address it. But the farmer's market is run by a group separate from the city. So it's a group of volunteers under the umbrella of Belton Community Projects Incorporated. So BCPI is the group that runs the farmer's market. That being said, I think there's I think there's 5 volunteers total. And as the president of the organization, I'm probably half the age of the remaining volunteers. It's very tough to get volunteers, and in a pandemic situation, it was certainly not any easier. And so those volunteers that we've had with us have been high school age kids, and they're going back to school now, so they're unable to volunteer those Thursday nights with us. And so we've had to make the decision to close the market about 3 weeks early. That being said, we were one of the first markets to open in Cass County, so I think we'll be open roughly the same amount of time total as the other markets. So I just wanted to address that. And then putting back on my council hat, I was contacted by a tenant of a property here in Belton, and this person has been having issues with their landlord. Well, I guess since I'm not giving you the address, I can tell you that they've had some issues with leaking and mold in the house, and the landlord has refused to fix it. So I'm just trying to figure out what direction I can give somebody in that situation as to how they can remedy. Is there anything that we can do in terms of contacting the landlord?
Well, if they have a concern, they should always contact code enforcement, contact the city, and we will send somebody out based upon their complaint to go out and do an inspection.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Okay, hold on. If that's not correct, then speak up.
Well, we don't do mold inspections. There's so many different types of mold. We don't have the testing facilities and the expertise to make a determination about mold.
But if they have overall general concerns with their interior, would that be something that they would contact code enforcement to do an inspection, and then they could give them a recommendation?
Well, that's a slippery slope because we don't have property maintenance inspections. A default answer to that question, I would say we don't do private property inspections. Our building inspectors and code enforcement inspect work that's under permit and junk, trash, and debris, and not interior inspections.
The tenant did mention that where the property is, I guess there are apartments or a duplex kind of like on the same property, all managed by the same or owned by the same person, and that there were complaints also about like the trash can position and just like general debris. So that I understood as something that we could, okay, thank you.
Any others? Any other concerns this evening? Okay, with that, I would entertain a motion. Motion to enter executive session, discuss matters pertaining to the leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate according to Missouri State Statute 610-0212, and the record be closed, and the meeting adjourned from there.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none.
Councilmember Trutzel,
Aye.
Mayor Davis,
Aye.
Councilmember Davidson,
Aye.
Lathrop,
Aye.
Van Winkle,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Peak,
Aye.
Savage.
Aye.
Motion's adjourned, or passes, and we are adjourned. Here we go.